moving forward can often be very difficult, but at the same time, it can bring enormous benefit.
That was the case with one of the most remarkable people we've met in all the years we've been on our healing quest. If Abba Gayle had her way, she never would have embarked on this healing journey, never would have gazed on these forbidding walls. Abba Gayle is standing outside San Quentin Prison on California's San Francisco Bay. In front of her is the building that houses Death Row and the cell of a man named Douglas Mickey.
When I first came to visit him, it was the most frightening day of my whole life.
Abba Gayle's first visit to San Quentin in 1992 may well be one of the most difficult healing milestones that anyone can experience. Because the man she was visiting, Douglas Mickey, had stabbed her daughter to death 12 years before.
My youngest daughter, Catherine, was murdered when she was 19 years old. And nothing prepares you for that kind of an experience. And I was absolutely consumed with anger, with rage, with a passion for revenge, and just untold ugliness. And I carried this around with me for years and years and years.
One night in 1980, Abba's daughter was staying at her friend Eric's home. They were joined by Eric's friend, Douglas Mickey. A fight broke out, and Douglas killed Eric. Catherine was in the way. Douglas Mickey was captured, tried, and sentenced to die in the gas chamber at San Quentin.
You have to understand that when my daughter died, I had no faith, I had no religion, I had no one to go to. I was absolutely, totally alone in dealing with this.
For almost a decade, Abba Gayle believed that only the execution of Douglas Mickey would end her pain.
Frankly, my opinion had been, all those 12 years, that why didn't they kill him and get it over with? Because I was sure that I was never going to live a normal life until he was killed.
But a visit to a bookstore 8 years after Catherine's death had begun a gradual awakening of Abba's spiritual side. She began studying a spiritual thought system called A Course in Miracles. In it, she learned that the act of forgiving might help heal her torment.
And after 4 years of this really intensive seeking for spiritual truth, I was driving home from church one night and a voice came to me. And it said, "You must forgive him and you must let him know." And that voice was talking about the man who murdered Catherine.
The night of her revelation, she sat down to write a letter.
Dear Douglas, 12 years ago, I had a beautiful daughter named Catherine. She was a young woman of unusual talents and intelligence. She radiated love and joy. I knew that I'd been robbed of my precious child and that she'd been robbed of growing into womanhood and achieving all her potential. The violent way that she left this earth was impossible for me to understand. In the midst of studying A Course in Miracles, I was surprised to find that I could forgive you. This does not mean that I think you are innocent or you are blameless for what happened. What I learned is this: you are a divine child of God. Do not waste your last days on earth with remorse and fear. Death as we know it is really a new beginning. I hope that this letter will help you to face your future. I am willing to write to you or visit you if you wish. I send my blessings to you and your children. And I signed it, Gayle, mother of Catherine Blount.
Abba Gayle had done what many people in her circumstances would have found unthinkable.
I mailed that letter, and the experience I had was not just emotional, but physical. When I dropped that letter in the mailbox, all the anger, all the rage, all the ugliness that I've been carrying around all those years, it was gone instantly. And in its place, I was just filled with love and joy and peace.
Abigail had tapped into a powerful healing force that for centuries has been the province of spiritual teachers. A few days after she mailed her letter, she received a response from her daughter's killer.
Over the years, as I walked my inner journey alone and grew in awareness, I've often realized that Kathy's mom must be feeling the pain of loss every bit as intense as that which I felt over my mom's sudden death.
I felt cheated, betrayed, and violated. Realizing that you and Eric's mom must be experiencing similar pain and anger has been an unspeakable burden to my soul. I would gladly give my life if I could change that horrible night. Respectfully, Doug.
With the letter was a visitor's pass to San Quentin Prison.
What I knew in that moment was that I didn't need to have another human being murdered in order for me to be healed.
Abba used the pass. In that frightening first visit to San Quentin in 1992, she and Douglas Mickey sat together and cried.
We were weeping for Catherine, and we were weeping that she had lost her life and her potential for what she could have done with her life. And I realized that day that when the night that Catherine lost her life, Douglas lost any semblance of a life that he would ever plan for also.
The visit was the first of many. While Douglas Mickey awaits his fate on death row, Abba says she and her daughter's killer have become lasting friends. She rejects those who say the deaths of the condemned offer the only path to closure and peace for their victims' families.
There will never be closure for me in the life of my daughter, Catherine. I will always remember her. I will always be thinking of her. And the idea that killing another human being is going to do anything to make me feel better or to make it less horrendous, what happened to her, is insane thinking.
Now, Abigail celebrates Catherine's life in appearances around the country and on the internet. She tells the story of her own long journey out of despair. She has, she says, given up all hope for a better past.
I've discovered in my life through a personal experience that forgiveness is, I think, the greatest healing power that we have here on earth.
Incredible.
We've done a lot of stories in our 10 years on Healing Quest, but none of them is any more powerful than that one was.